The divisional round is set as the Bears will host the Rams next Sunday. It'll either be 2 Central or 5:30 Central. That won't be determined until after tonight's Steelers-Texans game for whatever reason. But listen, we have a new Rams channel here at Chat Sports. It launched last week. It's called the Rams Report. They have challenged us to a divisional week subscriber battle. So you guys know what to do. If you haven't subscribed already, if you want to support this show and take down the Rams Report, free and daily content all week long, hit that subscribe button. And coming up next, we got Bears, Rams preview. Let's do it. I'm Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears Now. The Bears will host the Rams this Sunday at Soldier Field, where it's expected to be sub 20 degrees and with wind, potentially single digits or maybe even negative wind chill. The only question is whether or not it'll be 2 o'clock Central or 5:30 Central. I think the Bears caught a break here, getting an extra day of rest as they've been beat up recently and really all year, so extra time to prepare as well. The line opened Rams -4.5. It has dropped a point. It is now -3.5. The over/under 51.5. Both these offenses can really score, so no surprise on that one. Let's get into some injuries to watch. Obviously, the 3 Bears players who were in the concussion protocol and did not play this week. CJ Gardner-Johnson, he was tweeting a lot during the game, so you're hoping he's feeling better and can clear. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka has missed the last 2 weeks with a concussion, so we'll see what his status is this week. And then Amen Ogbongbemiga, one of your better special teams players. Plus, you'd really like to have his depth at linebacker. He was in the concussion protocol as well. Andrew Billings banged up his hip on Saturday night against the Packers. I think he'll be okay, but we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Now, obviously, Ozzie Trapillo and TJ Edwards are out for the season with their season-ending injuries suffered on Saturday. They, of course, will not play. They'll actually go to IR at some point this week, and like we've mentioned a couple of times, I would expect Braxton Jones and probably Jalen Reeves-Maybin to be signed to the 53-man roster. Jones off of short-term IR, Reeves-Maybin, who played on Saturday, off of the practice squad. For the Rams, the injuries to watch. Matthew Stafford. Now, we did just get an update a little bit ago from Ian Rappaport. He suffered a sprained finger, but he is expected to be okay. But we'll see how that impacts him, if at all, in this game. Kevin Dotson, who did not play in the wild card round, their starting guard with an ankle injury. We'll see if he can come back and play this week. Same with Terrance Ferguson, who missed the game with a hamstring injury. Jordan Whittington, don't really know what the injury is, but he has not been playing. And then Josh Wallace dealing with an ankle injury. They did also just put Ahkello Witherspoon on IR, one of their backup corners. He's been banged up all year, so he will not play as he suffered a shoulder injury. Now, just to recap what these teams did in the wild card round, of course, the Bears, epic comeback, largest in franchise history in the postseason, 31-27 win over the Packers to send them packing, 1-2-3 Cancun. Pretty awesome night. And then the Rams survived a scare from Carolina. They go into Carolina and win 34-31. Stafford got pretty shaky in the middle of this game, but he responded late with a couple of touchdown drives to win this one. But the Rams, as we mentioned in our video last night, breaking the news that this would be the matchup, not exactly firing on all cylinders heading into this football game. Okay, who has the edge in this matchup between the Bears and the Rams? I thought about going push at head coach, but if we're focused on the here and now, maybe you could debate that. I'll still give it to Sean McVay and the Rams. He's been there. He's done that. He's been one of the best in his profession for the better part of a decade now. So I will lean Rams. I also didn't think Ben Johnson had his best game against the Packers. I think he'll have to coach a better game to win this time around. But obviously, we're all very happy with the Bears head coach. Quarterback, I still think you got to go Stafford. Now, tight game late. I certainly trust Caleb Williams, but Matthew Stafford's going to win the MVP this year. So I think you have to go in his direction. He's played in a lot of big playoff games. He's won a lot of big playoff games, including a Super Bowl a few years ago. So I think you would have to lean Stafford. You look at both quarterbacks in the wild card round. Williams, 24 of 48, 361, couple of touchdowns. 2 interceptions, but both were on 4th down. Burden ran the wrong route on one, and on the last one, it's 4th and a foot. DJ Moore slips, and you probably should have run the ball anyway, and it's 4th down. You have to throw it. So take those interceptions with a grain of salt. Stafford threw a pick, should have been 2 if Puka Nacua doesn't break one up late. Like I said, in the middle of that game, he got wonky because I think he started 9 for 10, and he ended up 24-42, but hit the 300-yard mark in those big touchdowns late. Now, I will say this, even though you would lean Stafford overall, Caleb can do things that Stafford can't. He can make the play after the play. Stafford doesn't really do that much anymore. So if it comes down to a situation where Caleb Williams needs to freelance and make plays, we know he can do that. If the Bears, which we'll get to our keys to victory in a minute, can make Stafford uncomfortable, it's going to be tougher because he doesn't really move outside the pocket much anymore. Okay, skill weapons. I'll go push. The Nacua-Adams duo is stronger than the Bears wide receiver duo, but the Bears have more diverse weapons and more volume of weapons that they can go to. They've got Rome Odunze back, who looked good, made a couple of nice plays. Obviously, DJ Moore has been playing better as of late, especially in the 2 Packer games. You've got Luther Burden, who can change a game at any moment. And you got this tight end in Colston Loveland, who's been fantastic. And even though the running game hasn't been great as of late, Swift and Monungai can really run the ball. Rams have 2 good running backs, too. Their tight ends are good as well, but we'll see if Terrance Ferguson plays. I'll go push. I think the wide receiver duo the Rams has is better, but I think the volume of Bears' weapons is kind of an equalizer there. Offensive line, I'll go Bears. Don't know Kevin Dotson's status. Rob Havenstein is still on IR. He's probably not going to return either. The Rams' offensive line is still solid, but it's not as good as the Bears, even without Ozzie Trapillo, in my opinion. So I will lean Chicago on the offensive line. All right, today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard, but in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and Prize Picks lets you take control. I love that they have early payouts now. It's their newest feature. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. How you play Prize Picks is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose the flex play option where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. If you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Little 3-player lineup for this weekend, and you don't have to pick players all within the same game, but you can. I took more on Caleb Williams' pass yards. Those numbers have been going up every week. 361 against Green Bay, 229.5 against the Rams defense that hasn't been great recently. I like the more there. Colston Loveland, same deal. He's gone for more than 90 yards in each of the Bears' last 3 games. 55.5, yeah, I'll take the more. And then Puka Nacua, I think the Bears are going to have trouble with him, so I think he finds at least 1 touchdown, so I'll take the more on half a touchdown as well. $20 entry to win $85 on that lineup. Get started with Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Okay, defensive line, Rams. I think it's underwhelmed at times based on what the expectations are and what they're capable of. Jared Verse has been a little streaky this year. Fisk is solid but hasn't popped as much. Byron Young's good. Kobe Turner's good. I still think it's a good unit, and it's certainly better than the Bears, but I don't think it's been as dominant that the Rams were hoping for. Linebackers, I thought about going push here. I did think Tremaine played a little bit better over the weekend. We'll see how DeMarco Jackson plays with the heavier workload. This is the playoffs now. Obviously, you don't have TJ Edwards. So with Nate Landman back, I'll still lean Rams there, but I think that's actually fairly close. Secondary, I'll go Bears. It hasn't been very good and certainly not great as of late, but the Rams really struggle in the secondary, especially at corner. Their safeties are solid, but so are the Bears' safeties. I think Byard and Brisker have actually been pretty good recently, especially Byard, who's been good all year. Brisker's played better, though. And I thought in the second half, Jalen Johnson showed some life. He had a nice breakup on Christian Watson. Maybe he can build some confidence there. And Nashawn Wright played better in the second half. Tyreek Stevenson, when they've used him, has played well. Kyler Gordon, hopefully a week under his belt, he can ramp up a little bit more. And if you can get CJ Gardner-Johnson back, you got some different pieces there. So I'll lean the Bears, even though it hasn't been the strength of this team that we kind of thought it would be. And then special teams, this is the biggest gap between these two teams right now. the Rams special teams is horrific. They had another punt block. They had to fire their coordinator like a month ago, and then every other week they make a huge mistake, it seems like. They just had a punt blocked against Carolina. They've had several field goals blocked this year. They don't cover well. The Bears, per PFF, are the 12th best special teams unit with a grade of 86.4. The Rams are 26th at 73.5. And they just make egregious errors. And a big reason why the Bears beat the Packers was special teams. Cairo Santos made all of his kicks. Devin Duvernay had a few nice returns. They forced a fumble on a kickoff return. They didn't recover it, but almost got a takeaway there. Whereas the Rams, they're just like holding their breath every time they line up for a kick. So I think this could be an area where the Bears could win a game. If it's tight across the board, you make a splash play on special teams, they make a bad play, that could be the difference. We've seen it a lot over the years in the NFL playoffs. What is your confidence level in the Bears beating the Rams? Scale of 1 to 10. I was at 7.3 over the Packers. I'll go 5.9. I am mildly confident. I do think the Bears can win this game. But I think as you progress, it's just natural. These games are going to get tougher, right? So 5.9, I think you're catching the Rams at the right time. Clearly, I would have rather played the Eagles, and we saw why yesterday. But I think this is winnable. The Panthers almost beat them. Every game's different. So, if they lose, I don't think it's like, well, Carolina almost beat them. Like, every game's its own entity. But I do think the Rams come in a little shaky here. So if you can play some good football, I think the Bears have a shot. Okay, keys to victory here. Number 1, can you get Matt Stafford off his spot? It's going to be tough because the Bears' pass rush is hit and miss. I thought in the second half they made Jordan Love uncomfortable. Montez Sweat got in his face a few times. He popped a little bit. Didn't get a sack, but he flushed him a couple times. Austin Booker has been playing pretty decent recently. He had 5 pressures on Saturday night. The interior has not popped that much in the pass game. It was good against the run. We got to give him credit. They stuffed Josh Jacobs in the second half, but can Dexter or Jarrett get back there every once in a while? We'll see. If Stafford's just sitting back there, clean pocket, it's going to be tough. Adams, Puka, the tight ends, it's going to be difficult. But if you can force him to try to move or get rid of the ball before he wants to, he doesn't really move well anymore. He's got 1 rushing yard the entire season. So I think if you can get him off his spot, he could start to airmail some passes. We saw that against Carolina, so we'll see if Dennis Allen can dial some things out. If you get CJ Gardner-Johnson back, maybe you play him and Kyler Gordon at the same time sometimes and dial up some pressures. We'll see how they mix and match there. Okay, you got to reestablish the running game offensively. The last 2 weeks, even if you wanted to add the 49ers game, now they did average 5 yards per carry against San Francisco. It just kind of turned into a Caleb Williams game, so they were still efficient in that game. But the last 2 weeks, it just feels off. They have not created running lanes, or the timing's been off. Remember the first month and heading into the bye week, Ben Johnson was asked about the running game, and he's like, it's all just slightly off. He wasn't panicked about it. He was just like, this thing's going to click soon. It kind of feels like that again, where it's like, we know they can run the ball, but like, is a timing block just a little bit off? Is Swift, missing a lane just slightly? It feels like Monungai the last few weeks has not been able to find those running lanes. So it feels a tick off. I don't think all of a sudden they just don't know how to run the football. I think the details have probably just been a little bit off. I think if you can get the running game going again, that would just be huge for this football team. We know they're capable of it, so we'll see if they can do that. I would imagine that's a pretty big focus offensively during practice this week because it's been 2 weeks in a row. Okay, number 3, feed Colston Loveland. I mean, this guy, he's already one of the best receiving tight ends in the NFL. The last 3 weeks, Week 17, Week 18, the wildcard round, 6 for 94 and a touchdown against the 49ers, 10 for 91 and a touchdown against the Lions, 8 for a $137 against the Packers. You cannot defend this guy one-on-one. The Rams' back 7 is not great. I don't think any of those linebackers can hang with him. We'll see how Chris Shula approaches this Bears offense. Do they try to take Colston Loveland out of the game? If they do, are they leaving guys like Luther Burden and Rome Odunze in single coverage situations? Again, to the point earlier when we were talking the skill groups, when you have a multitude of weapons, 4 or 5 guys that can beat you one-on-one, makes it tough because you can't really take that one guy away consistently. So I think when you get good matchups on Colston Loveland, he's got to be the primary read more often than not. I think we saw it in the second half. Caleb was like, I'm peppering 84 because I trust that he's going to get open. So I think this is a guy 10-plus targets from here on out. He's been that good recently. Number 4, it's not really like an X's and O's. It's more of just like do something in the first half. Something. And I want to tie back the running game to this in a second, but I think, I can't say for sure because they've proven us wrong multiple times and none bigger than a 21-3 halftime deficit, but I think you're going to have to play better in the first half to win this game. Now, again, I know that they've overcome a lot and they're great in the second half. I get that. I don't even think you need to be awesome in the first half, but you can't be down 21-3. Can you be down 13-7? Like, I'm not asking for a lot here. Just give me a little more in the first half. Defensively, don't just get run over. Offensively, finish some drives. And I think getting back to the run game, I think that really helps all of it because A, it keeps your defense on the sideline, and B, if you can get the run game going early, it keeps you balanced offensively, and it's not forcing you into these consistent second and third and longs where it felt like the Bears were living in the first half of this past game. So if they can run the football early in this game, I like the Bears' chances of not only starting faster, but winning this game. Okay, lastly, you got to win the turnover battle. It is miraculous that the Bears against the Packers had 2 turnovers. Now, they were both on 4th down. The first one was basically a punt, so not all turnovers are created equal. I get all that. But 2 turnovers. They missed 4 of their 6 4th down conversions. That's a turnover. It's a turnover on downs. So, theoretically, they had 6 turnovers, and the Packers had 0. Packers had 0 giveaways, and they were 3 for 3 on 4th down, and the Bears won that game. That's kind of an all-timer. That's an outlier. That probably gets you beat against this team and against most teams. Like, you're not beating the Rams if you lose the turnover battle by multiple, and if they're perfect on 4th down and you're 33%. I think you're just playing with fire, right? Like, I get that there's something magical about this team, and they never quit, and all that stuff's admirable, and it's true. As long as there's time on the clock and the game's not completely out of reach, we know they have a chance, but I just think eventually some of these small things you're going to have to do better at. Otherwise, final 8 teams in the playoffs, you're probably going to lose if you lose the turnover battle that bad. So I think they're going to have to win it against a team like LA. Okay, predict the score. Bears, Rams, who you got winning, and what do you have as the final score? I've gone back and forth because, I try to pick these honestly on what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to go Bears 30-28. I thought about going Rams 28-27. There's something about this team right now, and I do think if they can just tighten up a little in the first half, I don't love the way the Rams are playing right now. If the Rams are playing like they were really in November and into the first half of that Seattle game before they blew that game, since then they have not played as good, I would pick the Rams. I'd be like, you know what? Great season. I'm picking the Rams 27-21, whatever. But I just feel like the Bears have an insane amount of confidence right now, and the Rams are just a little off. And if that continues, I think the Bears could win this game. So give me Chicago 30-28. I think it'll be high scoring. I think it's probably going to require close to 30 points to win. But if they can get there, then they're going to have a chance to win. So give me Chicago to win. You guys drop your scores down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will be live this afternoon. We're going to try to go live a little bit earlier than 4 o'clock Central. I have to leave a little early today. I got to pick up my son from daycare. So we're going to go live a little earlier, probably like 3:30, probably more like 3:30. So lock us in, turn on the noties so you know we go live, and we'll see you soon.